This is the K-Pop Cast, and we're here to recap the latest hot issues and hit replays of the week. Hello, everybody. I'm your PDN Michaela, and
I'm your host, Stephanie. And before we dive in, don't forget to join the K-Pop Cast listener fam on Slack. Link to the space in the episode description.
And now for the hit replays. Hit replays are what we call K-pop songs you should totally check out. So, Stephanie, are you going to kick us off? What is your hit replay for this week?
I'm going to kick us off with a bang and a bass line.
Ooh.
My song is Bad Bad off of KUNST's new album, Remember Archive, featuring rapper R&B singer duo Taba and Jay Park on vocals. So as I mentioned, this song is produced by KUNST, real name Cho Sung-woo, and he is a South Korean composer and music producer under AOMG, Jay Park's former label. So I'm sure these two go back at least a few years.
Yeah, just a little bit.
KUNST has also appeared as a commentator on Korean dating shows, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. Also, I Live Alone. He's been on the panel for that one too.
Yeah. So he's like getting around. He's also usually a coach on Show Me the Money and like producing really hot tracks for the contestants on that show. So it's really nice to see how he went from underground, just like self-taught at music producing, to now he's like on top of the game. Mm-hmm. Right. Everybody wants to work with him, as you can see from the illustrious features on this album. I really encourage everyone to check out, Remember Archive, the whole album.
All of our favorite people on this album.
Yo.
I don't think nobody was missed.
Yeah. Lee Hai, Wendy. Really?
Wendy, Tiger JK.
Davida, Gecko.
All the biggest names.
The heavy hitters.
On our list of people in K-hip hop.
And that's all that matters is our list, our faves. Yes. Palo Alto. Okay, I can just go on and on. Everybody's on that album. But speaking of this song in particular, we have Jay Park, who we have like mixed feelings about. He just keeps finding his ways onto amazing songs.
Right.
And then we have Taber, who I learned about from Michaela on a previous hit replay. Taba, born in 1994, is a Korean American, grew up in LA, my hometown. And he is like a protege of Dean. So if anyone knows Dean, R&B crooner, then, you're going to love Taber's sound.
Definitely.
He also participated as a rapper, I believe, in Show Me the Money 10.
Right. Which is really surprising considering like when you listen to him on these songs, you don't really think of him as a rapper just because of how beautiful and melodic his voice is.
Yes, but once you told me he's a rapper, I can hear it because of all of this like sharp cutting off the air, percussive stuff. He's almost beatboxing as he sings. Mm-hmm. And like making record scratch noises as he sings. It can be a little off-putting, but you get used to it and you love it.
Right.
So, just to wrap up on why I love this particular song, Bad Bad, is because the sound is so familiar. It's reminiscent of classic 80s funk. It's like so on the nose with that I called my dad and sent it to him to listen to it and to tell me like, what he thinks of it and which bands and which songs he thinks are inspirations for this track. And Dad right away identified, okay, we've got Earth, Wind and Fire, SOS Band, the Brothers Johnson, and also a more recent jazz musician, Richard Elliott. Just like classic 80s funk with a heavy driving bass line where the bass and the snare hit on the one. So it's just like boom, boom, boom. There's no room to breathe. It's a driving beat. You know, there's honestly not much melody or hook to speak of, but the bass line just grabs you, right? And what I find as the real, like the replacement for the hook is number one, like the interesting vocal behavior that I think both Tabor and Jay Park like put on their Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal.
Definitely 100% for this one.
They were just like having a ball with it. You know? All of that. And number two, the layering of musical instruments that build on each other as the song goes on in time. Like there's muted guitar at the end. There's a muted steel drum that gets like put through a synthesizer to muffle it. Just like really interesting instrument choices that are really just like icing on top of this beat.
Yeah, I love it. And those are everything that you mentioned is all things that like KUNST is known for. Like, especially when it comes to like old school samples and references, like that's something people note about him is that he really does his deep dives into all like R&B, blues tracks to find like the best samples and sounds to use for his music.
Exactly. And so for this, KUNST like dug into the vault of the 80s, which is now 40 years ago, everybody. He went back 40 years to find inspiration for this here track. Like if you want to hear some like similar or inspiring songs, look up You Make Me Wanna Wiggle by the Brothers Johnson and Earth, Wind and Fire, Side by Side, SOS Band, Just Be Good to Me. Those are examples that'll probably give you that same want to bounce your head, want to groove, want to boogie kind of feel with the bass. So KUNST, like you've done it again with this song and with the whole album. You're just like, oh, amazing.
Yeah, I had the perfect exposure to this. I heard it in the gym for the first time because I was just like diving into the album. So I was just like, on the elliptical, just going and going. But then I had to stop because, they have a few of those parts where they're just like, there's dialogue, from Jay Park where he's like, scream
my name.
Yeah, I had to clutch my pearls for a second. I was like, what did he just say? What?
And then he said it again, a little more emphatically.
Right.
Tune in. Yeah. So PD Nim, I hear you've got another banging hit replay. What is it?
Yeah. Also a little bit of clutching your pearls, at least with the lyrics with this one. So
definitely.
My hit replay is the latest comeback from our boy Bobby from iKON.
Bobby!
It's the title single off of his new single, the double A-side release. It's the fun, funky, freaky song Drowning featuring Soul.
Don't get to know me. Baby, won't you ride to the downtown, then I can take you round and OB. Going down time about a plan lead. Pull up to my place, so the way dance so I got that we can wake up in a space. Cold brew in the morning, order breakfast. Diamond gun and TV up in Netflix. Whatever you wanna do, let me drown.
So Bobby, if you guys don't know who Bobby is, I feel like if you've been a fan of at least K-hip hop for the past 10 years, you know who he is. But for maybe some of you newer fans who are getting into K-pop for the first time who don't know who he is, Bobby, born in 1995, he's mostly known as the main rapper and songwriter-producer of iKON, who are now currently under 143 Entertainment after leaving YG last year. He debuted in 2016. He also has a subunit that he formed with Minho from Winner called Mob. And really, he's the most known, especially in Korea, as being the winner of Show Me the Money 3, which really put him on the map as one of those, quote unquote, idol rappers that was a real rapper. You know what I mean? Like he proved that he's not just like a pretty face. He's not just using YG's name for clout. Like he's actually a good performer and a good master of his craft.
Excellent performer.
Yeah.
He was one of the shining highlights of my abysmal Camp LA experience.
Oh, right.
Seeing him live. Yes.
Yeah, but getting into this song specifically, Drowning, I mean, first foremost, this being the first comeback from anybody in Icon after they left YG, it was going to be very interesting to see kind of what they're going to be sounding like after, because essentially this is 100% Bobby in this song. Like, he was involved in all of the production of the music, as well as the music videos and the looks and styles and the concepts and everything. And it was really nice to hear him do this kind of like, fun, breezy, funky sound that I heard a lot in his last album, which might surprise people who only know him as like the ribbity rap guy.
Ribbity rap.
But he's mostly singing on this track, which I really like because he has such a very like gruff but melodic tone.
So unique.
Right? He has a very unique voice. Like, you hear him, it's Bobby.
Yeah, this was fun. You could really tell he's having fun in the music video and singing, and everyone just needs a breezy, groovy track every now and then.
Yeah, just fun, especially it's a new label, a smaller label, so they didn't have a budget for like his last one where he was fighting like 40 guys. This one is just featuring his friends. So we have Soul obviously making her cameo in the song for the feature.
I love her voice.
Yes, a super underrated, little known R&B artist. You should definitely check her out on her own.
SOLE.
Mm-hmm. But you also had DK from Icon making an appearance, as well as SF's 9 Hui-young and Sonu from The Boys making this, the first comeback of the Full Dash team.
Full Dash. Full Dash. Full Dash.
You might have known them from being robbed at Kingdom.
Totally robbed.
But the concept of the music video, it kind of look from at least what we heard in the behind that he explains. He's being very secretive about this album because he kind of wants to leave it up to interpretation. But it kind of seems like, since this is the first of 4 releases, it's kind of like this is the spring release, and there's a concept of like birth and death, and like this part is like the death part where you just see Bobby wake up. It's clear that he was like on some kind of operating table, and then he's like running around in what's supposed to be like this purgatory, and he meets the king of death, which is Bobby.
Of course.
And he's like giving out these cards to people, which is like going to determine what their life is going to be like in the afterlife. But you just see the real Bobby just like hiding and like trying to run away and trying to avoid whatever fate is coming up to him. And then he just escapes by like jumping off and diving into a pool.
So there are some similarities to his last single where he was like running and escaping and jumping off things.
Yeah.
He likes to be in motion.
Yeah, this is the part 1. So it's going to be really interesting to see like where this story is going.
Yeah, he always keeps us entertained.
All right, so that wraps up our hit replays for this week. Now it's time to get into hot issues. All right, Stephanie, you kick off the section again. So what is piquing your interest in K-pop this week? Or who is piquing your interest in K-pop
Funny
this
you
week?
should say peaking.
Right.
My interest is piqued by a particular peak time contestant.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen me tweeting or seen me in the Slack the past few weeks, it's none other than Moon Jong-up, otherwise known as Jong-up, Jong-up.
Mm-hmm.
And, Michaela, why don't you give them an intro about what peak time is?
Yeah, so Peak Time, if you guys don't know, is JTVC's recent survival program for idol boy groups from all different walks of life, like new babies, guys who maybe have been around for a few years, and then the older guys that are
retired,
maybe been out of the game but are trying to get back in, and they're all competing under pseudonym names, which are different hours of the day. And they're competing for the chance to reveal what their actual team name is at the end.
Yeah, so I've found the show really entertaining, really addicting, and it's actually one of the first shows in like I don't know, 10 years that actually motivated me to sign up online and cast a vote.
No, same right here with you.
Okay, so back to the reason why Moon Jung-up. I'll start with the funny story of how I learned about him. So I've been a K-pop fan since like 2004, 2005. And so I've seen a lot of groups and a lot of soloists come and go. Mm-hmm. Let me just say, I was first like conscious of who he was in 2021. I think because I must have forgot or slept on or skimmed over who he was in the past. I saw him release his song Us as a soloist in 2021.
Talked about it on the show.
We talked about it on the show. It was, if I look back right now, that song was my most played K-pop song of 2021. Ooh. Song of the year for me. Just catchy, perfect. Choreo is divine. He's super cute. But I just kind of saw him as like a soloist who just, came through the regular pipeline and debuted with that song. I did not know his whole history. And so I just was like, okay, cool. I'll look forward to what he does next. I think I might have confused him for Woods because so I was like, oh, look, he's back with other songs, but this is different. But it was actually Woods. My bad. I'm sorry. I think the haircut or something.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
I don't know. Anyways, so then fast forward to now, 2023, and I see Moon Jung-up as a contestant on Peak Time. Mm-hmm. And he gives this audition performance that's very similar to Us. And what I notice is the reaction of everybody in the audience giving him a standing ovation. He's judges good. Applauding him, saying stuff like, "What are you even doing here? You're a legend." Right. Like the group that you were in was actually covered by one of the other contestant groups. So like, what are you doing here? And then I was like, oh, I'm missing something. So I knew that there's something special about him, that he's really talented and he's not just a newbie debut with Us, but I didn't know why or like where he came from. So that like everyone's reaction motivated me to like, I need to go find out who this is. Lo and behold, he was a member of BAP, legendary, super like aggressive, macho, hip hop inspired.
Yeah, we talked about that. They really pioneered that kind of dark, aggressive boy group concepts.
Super
with their
aggressive.
Debut. Because before they had come out, nobody had really gone that hard hip hop, that hard in the choreography before them.
Exactly. Right. I think they were and kind of still remain the outer edge of that style or that concept. They even have choreo where they do push-ups all throughout the chorus.
The physicality.
And all this acrobatic stuff. So Jung-up was a member, like a main dancer, I think, in BAP. And so that just, I was like, what have I been missing? And I just knew immediately there must be a treasure trove of videos and content for me to just like
I was so excited to provide
all my desires. Yes. So I went into the Slack and was like, guys, I am officially a Moon Jung-up worshiper. I'm here to spread the good word of like different videos I found. One of my favorites of which is the Try My Luck dance practice. Perfect.
Oh, wow.
He's an amazing dancer. His lines, his turns, his body rolls, his hips, everything. Go check him out. He is just like up there with the best of them. And Michaela, thank you for contributing to the praise fest of him.
I'm so happy to, because Sevi, you don't know this. He's my bias record in VAP. So he was the one that got me to stop looking at Bang Young-guk.
Oh my God. That's all who I was looking at. I only looked at Bang Young-guk and maybe Zello, but I just totally slept on Jung-up this whole time.
Yeah, no. When I was starting to get like into boy groups in 2013. Like it was the B groups. It was Block B and BAP, and he was the only one that I saw aside from Jungkook.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give it to Jungkook. He's just like magnetic.
Yeah, so check him out, guys.
Check him out. Peak Time. Yeah, go vote. Go, please vote, because I'm just gonna be honest. I think they messed it up by putting him in a misfit group with the other solo people. They just are not. I don't know. I think they're gonna bring him down, and that the staff of the show is like panicking, trying to find a way to rig the results to keep Jung Up in, even though his group is not pulling their weight. I'm just gonna say it.
Fair.
I don't know. What do you think?
I need to get caught up on the last episode, so I haven't seen the latest performances from their new challenge.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of the other guys in the group too as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of I want to root for them all of them.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think since it's just us. Before we wrap up this thing, I want to say one more thing about Peak Time. Mm-hmm. Other people have said this, especially on Twitter. But the vibe, I think one of the reasons why we've been enjoying Peak Time so much is it's a show that while there's still eliminations and there's still risks and sadness for when people get cut. It's a show that is still giving a lot to the contestants. Like, especially in the first episode, there was this energy that was very like supportive.
Yes.
And while still critical, it wasn't mean. It was here's the things that you need to improve on, and so that can make you better. And not only that, the show is giving a lot to these groups. Like even the groups that have been cut, they get to still perform the songs that they were given in the last thing. They're still being gifted these other opportunities that they can use after they leave the show.
That's true.
While, it's really sad to see them leave, there's still this, return. There's a bit of positivity coming from them being on this program versus, a Kingdom where they just get cut. Like, what they did to Golden Child was awful, where they literally gave them nothing.
And Kingdom is like the top boy groups. It's not like underdogs. It's like the top of their game already, boy groups. Like you can only go down from being on that show if you don't win. But Peak Time, I feel like all of these old disbanded groups or Nugu groups are going to get some shine, going to get a bump from this show. Yes, I'm really enjoying it. You can watch it on Viki, streaming now. That's my hot issue. Thanks for listening. PD Neum, what do you got?
No, I'm here with you, Stephanie.
Yay.
I'm so excited.
So I think that about wraps it up for our hot issue. Like we pretty much took up all the time talking about Peak Time, which I think is a worthy use of time. So moving on to our next and final segment, which is Rapid Fire Daebak or Not. We're going to read headlines and then quickly react to them. Let's hear what we think. So connected to the Peak Time hot issue, photos have recently surfaced of fan favorite Karam partying with an AV actress.
Gasp.
How do we feel about that? I know. And it's just like, so it's unexpected for a few reasons.
Mostly just because like his image on the show
is so clean. His face is so adorable. He looks like 10 years old.
He is also small. Like he's not very tall. Yeah. He's nice, like,
he's petite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just seeing him with
he's a party boy.
Yeah, okay.
He likes to party with alcohol and jacuzzis and models in bikinis.
Daebak for me. I'm like, get it, got him.
Right? And that's the thing.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
I am also Daebak, but it was just interesting seeing the Korean netizen reactions who are very like, oh no, not you too. Or like, oh, are you one of... I feel like there's like, a lot of social tension, especially in Korea. And
I see.
you know, seeing him in those positions feels like it conflates him with all the other like assholes that have come out,
like the YG scandal
horrible people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
So I feel like even though, you know, on our end we're like, yeah, no, he's in his 30s. He can party. He can do whatever he wants. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
But also, hopefully,
yeah,
like he's just doing that and not getting into things that are unsavory.
Yeah, like exploitation, forcing,
exactly,
forcing women to do things like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So I'm Daybach if it's just that.
If it's friendly,
yes.
Sure. But yeah, we'll see. I hope he gets to stay on peak time, but we'll see how much this blows up. All right. So next up we have Jimin, Like Crazy. He released the official MV. That's the title track, right? For his album?
Yes. Yeah. Title track of his solo debut album.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, highly anticipated.
Mm-hmm. I'm Daybach on this.
Yeah, I'm mildly Daybach. It's all right.
You got it.
And connected to that, we have a headline. Well, not really a headline, but we've been seeing Twitter chats about netizens are divided over BTS's Jimin's live singing during encore stage. So can you tell us what the encore stage is?
Yeah, so, you know, obviously he's Jimin, so he won the music show for that week. So at the ending, they have all of the groups that perform that week come on the stage and they present the you know, award to the winner and they say a few things, and then all the other groups slowly shuffle off the stage and the winner performs a more a cappella version of the song with, you know, the I think it's AR or MR removed, so that additional vocal. So it's really more of like a true live performance for the fans who are there celebrating the win.
Yeah. So what happened with Jimin's latest encore stage was that I think his earpiece stopped working, so he couldn't hear the music track in his ear, and he was just left to sing his song kind of a cappella with like all the other sounds blasting around him. And like the feed of his voice, of his live singing that came through was, you know, woefully off key, flat, and he was just struggling up there. And so the Twitterverse is, you know, half criticizing that, like, see, he can't sing at all. Like, what is this? And the other half defending, like, who cares? Who cares about live singing anyway? And, you know, he killed the performance. So yeah, where do we stand on something like that? Like, what do you think?
It's hard because, again, it's just supposed to be a fun performance for the fans that are there. It's not necessarily meant to be perfect. But, you know, in K-pop, we have this expectation, especially since a lot of singers don't sing live or sing with a lot of auto-tune or pretend to sing live when it's really a pre-recorded track to sound like it's live. We have all these unrealistic expectations of what a live performer should be. So I'm definitely on the side of, for this, like, it's fine. Like, it's okay that it's not perfect. You know, obviously he killed it in his real performance and he'll kill it in another performance later because, you know, that's where it really counts.
Right. I think Jimin is an excellent performer and entertainer. I would pay to watch him live, regardless of what happened here. And regardless of his live singing capability. Like, I don't expect him to have, I'm not expecting this from K-pop. That's just not the expectation, not the standard. Like, they're out there to dance and perform and entertain primarily. So next we have a few of the Luna members who were able to successfully sue their way out of their contract. They have signed with a new label, Mod House, and they've released a new teaser, like teasing that they're going to release music. Only 4 of the members, the ones that got out, they're moving forward. So Daebak or not on that.
It's a sad Daebak.
Yeah.
I'm happy for these girls to be able to move past and be able to continue on with their careers. But it is a little sad just to see Luna as this big group and now down to this smaller thing. But
yeah, I agree.
for them.
Sad Daebak. Like I'm happy for these four, which are like Heejin, Kim Lip, Jin Sol, and Cherry. It does suck for those who are left behind if they wanted to be there and they're kind of outside looking in. But hey, it's a massive group. I hate to say this, something like this was bound to happen, but yeah.
Right. Especially if for a girl group.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, rapid fire. Are we Daebak or not on Ive's Kitsch? I'm a not for this one, right? I think we were talking about this in the Slack.
We were
very confused about this comeback from Ive. I mean, it didn't help that they had such a amazing debut year.
Yeah.
So it was really hard to follow up all of that.
Exactly.
But Kitsch was a weird turn for that. And I think most of it comes from confusion about like what they were going with for the concept of the song, as well as, because when you think of Kitsch, I think of something, I don't know, a little bit
camp,
weird, campy, queer.
Yeah, quirky.
But this one,
it was just like normal.
Yeah, it felt compared to like a lot of like girl group songs that came out like a few years ago.
Yes, I thought it was dated. Yeah.
It was very safe. Very safe comeback.
Yeah. It simmered down the vibe. Yeah, I thought it was a song written for another group, not for them.
Okay. Are we Daebak or not on Jisoo's Gold Flower?
It's a not for me, sadly.
Oh, okay.
But
I'm actually a Daebak on this, and not
okay.
necessarily like the audio is like giving it a few percentage, but mostly for the music video. I feel like she played to her strengths.
Okay,
she's walking around looking pretty. There's not that much choreo.
If that's what we're rating on, because I was thinking of the audio and I was like, oh,
the audio.
The music video is
good
gorgeous
for her voice. Like it's definitely what I expected from her. I wasn't expecting, anything else really. I feel like this is her little pocket.
I guess so. I expected more from her voice. Honestly, I thought she was going to do something more interesting than what she's been confined to do in upbeat Blackpink tracks. I thought she could really, show off here, but she stayed safe with the vocal. Or maybe that's her capacity and I'm just expecting too much. Okay. Anyways, she looked gorge.
Yes, like I said, she knows she looks pretty. Beautiful gowns.
Yes.
Okay, are we Daebak or not on aespa's Hold On Tight, the track for the new Tetris movie on Apple TV?
Not. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm a not. I mean, I guess it's better than the song that they were going to do about planting trees.
Sure.
But this one, it straight up samples the Tetris theme song.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. There's not much.
I'm tired
to it.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of K-pop songs like this. Like a few come out every year that have that sampling of a kind of classical melody, and I don't know. I'm not into it.
Okay, and wrapping up our Daebak or not for comebacks this week. Are we Daebak or not on
Psychos?
Dokkebi Jeep, Tricky House.
I'm a soft Daebak. I think it's a fun concept. I think, you know me, I love hip hop, and this is supposed to be the second KQ fellas.
Yeah, this is the second generation, the little brothers of 80s.
Yeah, it was not giving enough hip hop for me.
I want to check out the album, because this is a soft Daebak for me as well. But I have a feeling that if I dig into the album, I'm going to find what I want.
You're right.
So wrapping it up, are we Daebak or not on 50/50 on the Hot 100 on the Billboard?
Daebak.
Right? Daebak?
I mean, Just because it's like personally validating to me, because I saw the video, I really liked the song, and I knew nothing about the band at all. And then now I see it blowing up and getting mainstream recognition. Or rather, you know, I hate that word mainstream. I'm going to cut that.
Right.
It's getting recognized by a lot of people online and by, you know, white Western colonial powers like Billboard. And it's validating for me.
Yeah, it's really, I'm Daebak. It's really interesting to see their come up right now, because I feel like it's a lot of word of mouth. Like less industry machine. Like people are just genuinely coming to the song and loving it. Peter mentioned that a lot of people are requesting it at his DJ gigs. So I'm really excited to see what they come out with the rest of the year. I'm hoping that it's a good continuous growth. I hope it's not like a one-hit wonder case. I feel like, especially in the last few years, we've had cases where, you know, these newer girl groups, they have like these hit songs, and then they get on the charts and they stay up there, and then, you know, there's not a lot of follow up with what comes out later. So I'm hoping the best with them, because I really like their sound.
Yes, same here. So that wraps it up for our Daebak or Not selections, and wraps it up for our episode. It was really fun just having like you and me here. Just the two of us. Yeah. It was like the old days, you know. So wrapping up, why don't we let our listeners know where they can find us on the socials?
I'm at Michaela JK-Pop on Twitter.
I'm at sparker2, and you can tweet all of us at the K-Pop-Cast. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. See you next time.